That's tough. Seeing him going down and that he didn't get back up right away, just knowing the type of player he is and how tough he is, I knew it was pretty serious, and he got up gingerly. So seeing him go down is not anything that we planned for, and it was kind of just made you hesitate because you've seen that happen a few times. But Taylor came in and he did a really good job of being prepared like he always does, and giving us a chance to make plays, and he kept us in the game and had us having a chance to win the game. So that's all you could really ask for. But seeing him go down was hard just from a personal standpoint and just who he is as a player.
You've obviously been through a number of quarterback changes in your time here, but having already had time with Taylor and Kyle, does it make this transition a little bit easier?
It's always an adjustment, when you've played with multiple quarterbacks. But I think the nice thing about it is, like you alluded to, is I play with both Taylor and Kyle now, so they both have experience in big games and big situations, and I've been having the opportunity to work with them throughout the offseason too. So there's obviously familiar faces, which works. So there's not as big of a gap as it was last year when Taylor first got here, but you still got to make sure you're on the same page throughout the week, because obviously each quarterback is different.
Walk us through that crazy catch down the sideline.
Oh yeah, that was a play we had been practicing for a while, and I ran the route in a way that I felt like Taylor could really put the ball where it needed to be, and he did a great job just allowing me to track it. I remember running the route, and the way the DB was playing, he was playing hard outside leverage, so I really wanted to sell the slant to make him bite and pull through. I knew he was going to hold me, so I was kind of expecting it. And, I just want to try to track the ball. And the crazy thing about it, I think it was Kyle Allen was like, man, that's a crazy catch. Did you see the defender? I was like, what defender? And I was like, I didn't know what he was talking about. Genuinely, I didn't until after the game. I saw the clip and I saw that Adderley tried to pick the ball, but I was so focused on the ball, I didn't even know he was there. So that's something I've been really working on. I think that helps with the contested catches. When you're just focusing on the ball, not really worried about what's going on around you, you give yourself a better chance of coming down with that ball. And those are the type of plays that change momentum. So I was fortunate enough to be able to make that play for our team, and then we scored the next play. So that was great for our offense, and hopefully we could keep that going.
You really didn't see Adderley?
I swear I didn't. I didn't see him. I was focused on the ball. I remember seeing over the top of my head, which the left side on a deep ball could be kind of difficult sometimes for receivers who are right-hand dominant. So that's something that I've also been working on. But when I remember seeing the ball was up in the air, I was just focused on coming down with it. And when I came down, I thought I was out of bounds, but I saw that they said 1 cheek equals 2 feet. So I was like, hey, that works for me.
In practice, were you having those same amount of contests, or how did that?
See, it's hard to replicate that in practice-like situations, because I don't think in my entire life of playing football I've ever been in that type of situation, that angle with a defender bearing down on you. So it's hard to replicate those catches, but pre-game I try to do a few over-the-shoulder catches that kind of simulate having to catch it on your outside shoulder, both left and right. So it kind of gives you that simulation of seeing the ball coming over your shoulder and trying to track it. So I try to make my drills as realistic as possible. So when you get in similar situations like that in the game, that you revert back to muscle memory, and you have a lot of confidence.
And I wanted to ask about Antonio Gibson. What do you think an expanded role for him could mean for this offense, and what sort of growth have you noticed in him?
Yeah, I think Antonio's doing a really good job of being decisive in the hole. He's hitting the hole really hard. He's reading our blocks really well, and that makes guys on the perimeter even more excited to block and get their job done on those safeties, because he's making corners miss on the perimeter. He's running through arm tackles, and he's being strong. So I think what he's doing right now is really good. He's really developed mentally. You could tell he's a lot more comfortable in the scheme. They're moving him around a lot more. He's even went out as a receiver. So I think the more he develops, the more it helps all of us. Obviously, I think it's no secret how much we use our running backs in this offense and how versatile they could be. So I think he does a really good job.
Terry, I think since you've been here in Washington, Taylor's going to be your 10th different starting quarterback that you played with. From a consistency aspect, how frustrating is that? It's almost like a revolving door at quarterback. As a receiver, you can't really develop that rapport consistency because it's constantly changing, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, it can be challenging. Obviously, it's human nature to kind of get frustrated at times, but at the end of the day, the first thing that comes to my mind is you have no excuses. I try to practice that way. I try to play that way and have no excuses and make sure whatever quarterback's back there, they can trust that 17 is going to get his job done and they can rely on him, because in those situations where Taylor's coming in and haven't got a lot of reps, he has to trust that I'm going to be where I need to be on that route that we connected on because of the rapport that we've built. So I think it's a unique situation that I'm in, and I've kind of got accustomed to it. So it's, I guess, that's how I've been able to adapt. You just go in and you deal with it the best that you can. And but I don't have any feelings of somberness or feeling sorry for myself, because at the end of the day, I trust whoever's back there is going to do the best they can to lead this team, and it's my job to be that guy that they can rely on. So obviously you want to have that consistency, but at the end of the day, my job's out there to go out there to make plays, whoever's back there.
Terry, you're a captain, one of the leaders of this team. How the fellas feeling right now? Obviously, tough loss.
Yeah.
But you don't have another division game until December. So
Right.
it's such a unique schedule. Do they understand kind of the urgency of this game? Because number one, it's a division game. You're not going to play another one in December. And number two, you just lost your opener.
Right. Yeah, that was a tough one. That stung for a little bit. I feel like we all still kind of feel that loss because, we felt like we were right where we needed to be to win that football game. And a few mistakes here, we didn't capitalize on a few situations here and there. And that's the difference in the NFL. One team makes those plays, and when you don't, you're probably going to be the team that loses. So we understand that obviously you want to go out and win every game. But I guess the unique opportunity that we have this week is we're on a short week against a division opponent, so we have a chance to get back to 500, hopefully get a win in our division, be 1-0 in our division. Then we feel good going into a little mini bye week before we head on the road. So I think that's our mind frame. Our mindset is to go into this game trying to win at all costs, because you don't want to go down 0-2 and then have to go on the road. And I think we play like Buffalo or something like that. But I think we had some good things, we had some bad things, but we had some bad things and things we needed to clean up. But at the end of the day, we have an opportunity to take a big step forward, and we all understand the importance of that.
A year ago, a lot of guys on the team didn't know who Taylor Heineke was and
Right.
never heard of him. And it just seems like guys embrace him. What is it about his personality, whether it's in the huddle or in the locker room, that has people rally around someone like Taylor?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I say about Taylor is he's a gamer. But sometimes when you hear in the football world somebody's a gamer, oftentimes the next thing you hear is, they may not be a great practice player because they're a gamer. But I think Taylor does a great job of preparing. That's why he's always ready. He never looks rattled away. He's out there. And then when he gets in the game, he makes the best out of any situation. If the play's breaking down, you saw him throw me a chest pass. He'll run the ball if he has to. He'll dive. And you want to play with a guy like that because you always have a chance to make a big play. You have a chance to change the momentum of the game because he's so dynamic back there. And he just gives us all confidence because he knows what he's doing. He has a really good grasp of this offense and the anticipation as a quarterback that he has. As a receiver, you have to be on point. And he's going to give you a chance to make plays. And those 50-50 plays is all you can ask for. So it's really cool playing behind a guy like that who just seems like he's always ready for the moment. It's never too big for him. And, he's going to give us his best each and every week.
Terry, after that loss to Tampa Bay, you were walking off the field with him. You told him how much you appreciated him.
Yeah.
Were there moments from that game that you talked about that confidence that were there plays? Was it a sequence? Was it something he said or did that really kind of helped build that confidence?
Yeah. I think it was really from the first snap. The way he was dictating and running our offense was something that was very refreshing, especially from a guy at the time that only been there for like maybe a week. I remember not getting any reps because I was hurt at the time. Me and him didn't have any reps during that week, and it just seemed like he was right where he needed to be. He put the ball right where it needed to be at all times. And I think the turning point in that game was, obviously when he dove for the pylon, and I think he got banged up on that play, but he wasn't even thinking about being banged up. He was worried about the 2-point conversion or whatever was happening next. So he's a dude who he's just tough. Like it's hard to just put in a box of what he is and what he brings to our team. But I think first of all, he's prepared. He's confident in his ability, and he's always going to make something happen at the end of the day. So as an offense, that we have to just rally around him and try to be available. So when he either breaks contain or puts the ball up in there, then we can make a play.
And then, because of that experience, how important is that moving forward, knowing that
Yeah.
Ryan's not going to be here for at least a little bit?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it helps. Obviously, he's been in a big playoff game like he has, but obviously we're going to need him to, lead us and help us get wins until Fitz could get healthy, and we'll see where we're at from there. But we have complete and total trust in him to execute our offense and lead this football team, because I feel like he's done it before. And the way you help him is we minimize the mistakes, turnovers, negative penalties, make those 50-50 plays, and we move the ball down the field. That's how you help a quarterback continue to stay confident and trust what he's seeing out there. So I think it's not just on Taylor to be prepared, but it's also on us to rally around him and make those plays when he needs it, when he needs them.
You just said like you didn't have any reps with Taylor last year before that game, so obviously it's not like you had to feel too much for him. But there's got to be some subtle differences between how the ball comes out of his arm versus with Fitzpatrick or other quarterbacks. So, and you're a guy who's obviously, we just established you're really you can really concentrate on the moment. So when you're focusing on Taylor Heineke, what are you kind of looking for as a receiver in terms of the ball coming out?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think one of the things that Taylor really uses to his advantage is his anticipation. He's really smart. And it's like he knows where he's going with the ball pre-snap, and then he confirms it post-snap. And if it's not there, then he'll create a scramble drill situation, and then everybody's live to get the ball. So I think with Taylor, you got to expect the ball from maybe whether you're on the left side of the field or right side of the field. You got to expect that ball when number 4 is back there, and when he throws it, you got to be ready, because as soon as you're coming out of your break, that ball is going to be there, which that's what you want, because those create those run after catch situations as receivers and playmakers that you want.
And just curious, having now seen the game, or you guys are all talking about it, what did you see from Diami in his first game?
I think he did really well, all things considered. He was targeted a few times, and he did a good job fighting through a pass interference call. And I think he ran really good routes. I think he's just going to continue to develop as the season goes on. He gets more comfortable out there. Like I said, there's some part of a transition from practice to games and preseason, and preseason to the real thing. You're going out against the starters, but I think he's fine. I think he's going to continue to be in favorable matchups and be in situations where he can win one-on-one situations, and I feel like that's why he's here. So I'm looking forward to see his opportunities and his maturation in this offense as we continue to go forward.
I know you said there's no somberness, but you're supposed to have Fitzpatrick, who is going to be your most stable quarterback, and you're supposed to have Curtis Samuel, who's going to make your job easier. Just where's your head at now going into week 2, and both those factors aren't there, and you're going to just have to shoulder more on offense?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to sound weird, but I embrace that, to be honest. With Curtis being down, obviously that's not ideal, and with Fitz being down, I can't sugarcoat that anyway. It's tough, especially from a personal standpoint. You have a relationship with both guys, but you see how hard they work and how much chemistry you've already built. You just feel like it's kind of been knocked down, but nobody's going to feel sorry for us, them, me, and that's the approach that I take, is just a no-excuse mentality. I mean, you got to be able to shoulder the load if you want to be the guy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the saying, heavy is the crown, heavy is the head who wears the crown. So, I mean, if you want to be a top guy in this league, no matter if it's your 4th quarterback, no matter if you don't have any playmakers, you got to go out there and make plays, because, when that score goes up on Sundays, you want to be on that winning side, and you want to be able to say you had a hand in that. And if you're going in worrying about things that you can't control, although they may affect you externally, you're not going to end up having success.